Our Minnesota legal case was complaint file number 11/005C, which took place in Perez, Minnesota, ISD District 484, and the complaint was filed on October 11th of 2010. The complaint was a special education teacher from the Perez district. So the issue regarding the legal case was during the 2009-10 school year, the Perez district failed to hold IEP meetings to discuss students' needs for alternative state assessments prior to determining which special education students would be giving state alternative assessments. So the findings of the facts for the case involve state assessments were administered to all public school students. The spring of 2007, Minnesota offered the Minnesota Test of Academic Skills, which is the MTAS, and the MTAS is defined as an alternative assessment based upon alternate achievement standards to eligible special education students in reading, math, and science. So in the spring of 2007, that MTAS was offered in reading and math, but not yet in science. Science, it wasn't offered until spring of 2008. The district administered the MTAS assessments on 14 students who were on an IEP. So when the complaint investigator came to review all those files of the 14 students who were on the IEPs and who took the MTAS either in one or more subject areas, the complaint investigator found that there was not proper documentation that was provided for the students. So there are 4 different points that the complaint investigator found within those files. The first one was that the documentation in the students' IEP was documented that they take the alternative assessment, which would be the MTAS, and only 8 out of the 14 students had that documented within their IEPs. The second point was the explanation in their IEP as to why they are having the alternative assessment. And in this case, there was only 6 out of the 14 IEPs that had documented that. The third point was another form of documentation for alternative assessment. So within this area, 2 IEPs had parental agreement, and the other 2 had parental agreement after the assessment was offered, but before they administered the assessment for the student. And the last point was when there is no documentation. And in this case, there were 2 files that contained no documentation for alternative assessment.